Mitram and Bandhuvam, friends, this is South Asia Maps presenter Dr. J. Reddy. South Asia Maps is an intellectual Kshatriya channel, brings fascinating facets of Indic-related heritage, culture, geography topics for the audience in the form of icons and maps and images. And once a while, I also post on other related topics, even though our main center is on South Asia. This is the new playlist I opened. I felt that it's a very, very important human ecology, especially we need to get that perspective. Dr. William Catton Jr. is a professor emeritus, wrote two monumental books that everybody in the planet Earth has to read to understand what is going on to human race currently, especially the political leaders and social workers. His two books, Overshoot and BottleNeck, that is the part of human ecology that tells of what is human predicament, what is the human dilemma we face today, and human impasse in the bottleneck century. Even though a lot of people are not aware of this, they have vague idea, but that's what ecologically happening to us. We are taught to look at the things in political, social, economic way. That is not the correct way. As organisms, ecological laws, limitations also apply to us. That is the essential part of Dr. Catton's work. Here I have put this icon for you to easily comprehend, because the ecological bloom that I talked in part 22 and ecological crash, that is the current part 23, always go in hand. This is a big picture, but this is the current presentation. I put it in the bigger font. Crash is DieOff. That means when there is an excess population that the land territory cannot support, there is their numbers will decrease very rapidly. That is called biologically a crash, DieOff. There is excess population, it crashed and population got reduced. That can happen to any organism. That's the basic ecological law. And humans are also organisms, animals, human animals, and we are not exempted from that. That's the essential point. Dr. Catton's Overshoot monumental book, the next sequel of his book, Bottleneck Century, and this is my main YouTube channel and South Asia Maps. And if you have not accessed it, you can go South Asia Maps J. Reddy. There are more than 220 or so fascinating videos, and you can look at them, and if you like them, please do subscribe and put your comments. And because this is a ecological topic, I opened a playlist for you. Those who are interested only in human ecological aspect of life on the planet Earth, you can go to human ecology playlist, look at them. There are nearly 18 or so videos already posted, some also on human population. You can go and look at them. That is the ecological crash. DieOff is the current topic of discussion we are talking about. So what is a ecological crash? In a layman's term, crash is a fall, like a DieOff. Invading species in a new habitat blooms, that population goes up, resources gets depleted, and there are no resources anymore the organism to grow, and the population declines. That's the simple ecological rule. Let's say there is a vat here, that means a vessel container with plenty of freshly crushed grape juice with rich carbohydrates and sugars, and we put an invading species. This is a habitat. Invading species is the yeast, winemaker adds it. Invading species, microorganisms. You can think yeast is a small human, a little human. They find a new habitat, plenty of resources, they start multiplying very rapidly. And because they have plenty of resources, and they bloom tremendously, they erupt, ecological eruption, ecological bloom. And they, in that process, they secrete alcohol, they make it. Alcohol eventually accumulates, that means their habitat, which was very nice before, now got damaged, the habitat degradation that eventually kills them. At the same time, the resources, the carbohydrate sugars are depleted. So eventually the East crash. Similar thing Dr. Catton alludes. The Europeans invaded or took over the North America, the new land. That is around about 1500, the voyages, Columbus and discoveries of the Atlantic sea routes to North America. Very few people are there. Europeans took over this land. They found a new habitat. Think about this is an island, essentially, the entire planet Earth. The plenty of resources, the numbers grew tremendously. Now there are nearly 1 billion people in the planet Earth, North America, South America, 600 in North America, around about 450 in South America, 1 billion. And we are talking about the entire planet in general, 8 billion. The crash can happen to these organisms also if they are not careful and continue to behave same way. The cycles of the bloom and crash are very common for any new invaders into a new habitat, that is sugar-rich, wettier, resource-rich virgin lands, forest land and grasslands in North America. Destiny of any species, including mankind, are not exempt from ecological bloom and crash. That's what Dr. Catton says. Humans took over and improved the carrying capacity. It means the number of the people land can support indefinitely. That is, taking over increased the carrying capacity. Then they found a drawing down of the resources, gone down and found minerals, metals, especially detritus related. Detritus means dead organic matter, that is fossil fuels. Once upon a time there were the organisms, the plants and bacteria, microbes. They died and they buried. The pressure and heat cooked them and made them into the coal, natural gas, oil. When you say detritus equals to transformed organic matter, dead organic matter, decayed organic matter, that is fossil fuels. They developed very energy consuming protocols called Homo colossus. I say Homo colossus means very big, a gigantic human being, a resource prodigal compared to his cousin, the normal subsistence human, that is Homo sapien. I talked about in the part 5. You can go and look at it if you are interested further. Homo colossus, and there was a premonition for the Homo colossus of impending crash. What happened in 1970 was oil crisis, that is the post-exuberant era, ecological exuberance before of 1800 to World War time gave to political social exuberance, and after the World War exuberance has died and there was a severe crisis in the Western world, but that temporarily stopped because still there was plenty of oil on the planet Earth. Alaskan oil, North Sea oil were discovered and so on. That was a premonition. That means we have to interpret the human history in the form of ecology rather than the political social things. So when the crash occurs, is very important. We should minimize the severity and inhumanity to the fellow human beings. Loss of human numbers all of a sudden due to crash will be generally unbearable to any human. We have to make that process less bearable, more intelligently, decreasing our numbers, decreasing our consumption. That means uncertain form of succession. That means what happens after a crash, there will be ecological succession, there will be successor of other organism. Sometimes ecological succession can occur without a successor. That means there may not be any successor. That who will be the successor of Homo colossus, we have to see. Maybe the current, his cousin, Homo sapien, may still survive with less energy and less resource requirement and so on. That is in essence about the ecological bloom and ecological crash we talked about in these 2 series. Bloom is the eruption in the number and crash is a precipitous decrease in the numbers of any organism, whether the yeast or human, because now our numbers from 1800 there was 1 billion people on the earth, 1000 million. 1974 there was a 4 billion. 2025 there are 8 billion. That is an enormous number. Even though a lot of people doesn't pay attention, they look normal, but in the ecological history, this is an enormous number. We bloomed because we found a lot of resources, and drawing down the fossil fuels, the detritus ecosystem. Fossil fuels give us industrial agriculture, fertilizers, pesticides, combiners harvested. We grew a lot of food, but these fossil fuels are temporary. They are not permanent. So the carrying capacity we enjoy today is a phantom carrying capacity we should be concerned with. That is the ecological bloom and ecological crash we are talking about. And thank you very much joining today, and see you later, Mitrum and Bandhu and friends, in other presentations. And if you like the presentation, the content, please do comment on the videos and any of the points you want to talk about. See you later.